Hello and welcome to the IC Topic Chats. Today is Thursday. Of course, it's Thursday. It's May 29th, 2025. 5 years. 5 years ago, we started this thing. Can you believe it? And I'm super honored to have Sheila Robinson with us today. She's going to talk about one of her favorite topics and something that she's a professional in with regards to, and this is her, I'm going to read her title, Expertise to Impact, but Designing Workshops and Courses That Make a Difference. But that's what she does. And this is who she is. She's a presenter. And she was just sharing with us before we started the recording how much she loves working with people in these settings. And I'm happy to have her. I got to know Sheila before I knew her, before we even ever talked. I was reading all the AEA 365s, and she did that for, I don't know, how many years, Sheila? 8 years? 9 years?
8.5.
See? And so, which means she's probably the foremost expert in all things evaluation. She had to read all of those blog posts and probably edit them and try and make sense of half of them, including my own. And then I got to meet her, and I just, we've created a great friendship, and I'm always happy to connect with her through these things. So with that, I don't want to take up a whole lot of the time. I want to give you as much time to present to our group. So welcome to our 5 year anniversary, and thank you for the honor of having you here today.
Thank you so much. Well, I am excited to get going. So, hi everyone. I'm Sheila and I'm a teacher. I've taught everything from algebra to piano lessons. That's true. Whether it's Vivaldi or variables, chords or coefficients, teaching is about transformation and turning information into impact. I once taught a student with significant learning challenges to recite Shakespeare. I taught a music student who couldn't read a note of music, couldn't even identify the keys on a piano to perform a complex classical piece at a recital. Today, I'm excited to talk with you about how you can take your expertise and turn it into impactful workshops or courses. So I'm gonna go zippity doo dah pretty quickly. We've got about probably 35 minutes or so. I'm going to ask a few quick questions in the chat as I continue to move on. But if you are someone who either teaches workshops or courses, or you're thinking about creating one, what's your topic? We'd love to see it in the chat. And don't worry, because guess what? We all teach a lot of the same topics. I'm not the only person out there teaching course creation. I teach courses on survey design, data visualization. I teach Program Eval 101, lots of stuff. Other people are teaching those too. Today, we're going to talk about how it's important to put your own stamp on your topic because only you do it your way. So there's a reason Matt didn't read my whole resume. That's because I'm old. I've done a lot of stuff. So it's getting packed there. Mostly these days, I'm focused on speaking and workshops. Teaching and learning is my passion. I say everything from algebra to piano lessons, and I'm planning to take up either Zumba or zoology just so I can have the whole A to Z there. My background is in public education, and I was a teacher before I became a program evaluator. So I did evaluation work. I continue to do little bits here and there. I was a president of the Presentation Guild. It's a wonderful little trade organization. And if you have a strong interest in presentations like PowerPoint design or other slide design, public speaking, that sort of thing, I would encourage you to check them out. I'm also from the Rochester, New York area. That's where I am today. I've lived here my whole life. I will mention these are the ancestral and unceded lands of the Haudenosaunee and the Onondaga. And I have a handout for you today. So you don't need it now. I would say, go ahead and um, click that QR code if you like. I'll make sure that you do have that link after this session. So you'll definitely get a chance to have that. So how many of you feel like maybe there aren't enough hours in the day to serve all the clients who could benefit from your expertise? And maybe you'd love to help more people, but you're already maxed out. Maybe some of you work one-on-one with clients in a coaching or consulting kind of way. Experts like us often have really valuable knowledge, but we struggle to package it in effective ways that can transform others while also scaling our own businesses. So, some of the reasons we might create courses are to increase our visibility, credibility, and trust. And I know that for some of us, including me, this has been a really difficult year. My schedule is not filled with clients and contracts. Most of the contracts, I'll let you know, most of the contracts I had lined up for early 2025 fell through. You know why. I know why. Without belaboring that particular point, creating courses can do some things for us that might just build up our client base and contract or contracts. Courses allow us to reach and impact more people, of course, and create some sort of a stepping stone for clients. I'm going to talk a little bit more about this, how we use courses and workshops in a business sense. So, well-designed courses can also showcase our expertise. They let the world know what we're capable of, what we're interested in, what we've learned, what we've studied, and what we do well. They position us as thought leaders in certain spaces. And again, I'm going to say this loudly, there's room for all of us in the thought leadership space, even in evaluation as a broad field, or in the pieces that we work on, surveys or data viz or analysis or any other aspect of the work. Courses and workshops that allow us to teach what we know differentiate us from competitors. The way I teach my topics is different from the way anyone else teaches those same topics. And of course, courses and workshops can help us build a loyal following. And if you've taken courses or workshops from anyone who maybe has a strong social media presence, or they have blogs or books, or they're out there doing keynotes or consulting or whatever, you know that courses and workshops can help you build a loyal following. And what's cool is we have this unprecedented opportunity with courses and workshops, right? If the pandemic did anything good for us, it really pushed us into this online environment. Online learning has been around for decades, but not quite in the same way as it has been since 2020. And it's not only that we have this online platform that's just growing exponentially to put our workshops and courses in different places and allow us to teach in different ways, more and more people are actually seeking us out. So this is a study from Pew Research. I know that you're familiar with the Pew Research Center. This particular study was on over 5,200 employed US adults. More than half of us are taking classes or getting job training. So the quest for learning is continuing to grow over time. Our jobs are changing, careers change, knowledge, technology, the things that we have to learn, right? So there's a lot of opportunity for all of us to be out there in the marketplace. Now, one of the beautiful things about a well-designed course or workshop is it can serve multiple purposes for your business. Courses have an amazing degree of flexibility. You can create a 1-hour course or a year-long course, a course that's taught in person, online, synchronous, asynchronous, hybrid, delivered via social media or email. It can be almost anything you can dream up. And of course, it can be truly distinctive based on your personal experience, your knowledge, and your teaching style. So I'd love to share a few quick real world examples. These are sort of amalgams of the types of people who are out there running businesses with courses. So our first case is Sasha. She's a leadership coach, and she created a foundational course called Leadership Essentials, and she offers this as a self-paced program. So when potential clients complete her course, they have a solid understanding of her methodology, and then they often reach out to her for one-on-one coaching. It's kind of like having a well-trained sales team working for you 24/7. But instead of selling, it's serving your business and demonstrating value to potential clients. Or consider Marcus. Marcus is a business consultant and he runs a live 6-week workshop twice a year. It's become his signature offering and it creates this seasonal buzz in his industry. His participants often transition into his monthly retainer services because they've experienced him firsthand and what he's about. As he likes to say, my workshop is my best biz dev tool. And finally, there's Lila, a wellness practitioner. She's created what she calls a sort of hybrid ladder. And she starts with these free monthly mini workshops that include her methods, that introduce her methods to people. And then she has this mid-tier online course for those who want to dig deeper, and that, of course, has a price tag. And then she has premium one-to-one services for clients who want that degree of personalized support. And each level kind of feeds naturally into the next, creating this progression for her clients. And then there's this woman. There's me. I like to do talks like this that are generally free for people to attend. I have a blog that's free, and I offer content in the form of LinkedIn posts and articles. So I hope these pieces of writing establish me as a credible source and a thought leader in my space. Then I have a monthly club and community that is a paid experience, but it's pretty affordable. And then I have a course that runs a couple of times a year, which is also reasonably priced. I also have higher tier personalized coaching and teaching services that combine the course and the coaching in different ways. And at some point, I might add a book into the mix. Who knows? My ladder isn't perfectly straight with the rungs, um, but it's working for me. Now, we'll talk for just a moment about one of the things that keeps course creators up at night, and that is choosing the right format for delivery. I mean, we all have a story to tell, but are we going to write a Broadway play? Are we going to write a movie? Are we going to start a podcast? Are we going to write a book? There's so many ways to tell a story. And with courses, we've got our basic three, I would say, in person. This is my favorite, to be honest. I love being in a room with people. I love seeing the heads nod and the smiles. I love getting people up and moving around and talking to each other. And it's fun, and in person keeps me traveling to fun places. But live online, I get to bring this same energy because I'm fine being online. I'm picturing you all in the room with me. You're sitting at tables, um, and you're laughing and you're smiling and you're having a good time. That's my fantasy. But you know what? I'm still wearing my yoga pants and slippers, and it's still going to be a 10-second commute downstairs to get lunch after the show. So I do love that part as well. And no airports. Ugh. Then there's self-paced on demand. Little bit different category here. I have been planning to release self-paced courses for many years. I am not the video person. I am not comfortable with video. I'm not comfortable editing video. Um, so the idea of doing video modules, I love the idea. I just haven't put it into practice. Got all the outlines ready to go, but so we'll see. But just a word about self-paced. If you can do it, they don't have to be completely asynchronous. You can link self-paced courses with office hours or Q&A sessions or a monthly live, whatever you call it. Lots of people do it that way, and it can be really effective. So just think about all of that. But here's what's really important. It's quality, right? We're talking about courses and workshops that are an extension of our brand. So this is what I'm really passionate about, is that our courses are well designed, regardless of what format you choose, regardless of whether it's a 15-minute course or a 15-week course. We have to talk about quality because there's a vibe going on out there, and maybe you've seen it or you've heard it. Just grab your phone, record some quick videos, talk about your stuff, throw them on our easy online platform, and we'll take care of the rest, and boom, you've got a course. There are lots of great teaching and learning platforms, learning management software platforms out there, and they're good, but it's not that easy. And it shouldn't be. I mean, everything else we've built for our business hasn't been something that we throw together without much thought or planning. So we don't want to do that with a course. It is an extension of our brand, and a series of videos is no more a course than a counter full of gourmet ingredients is a beautiful meal, right? It takes some work and planning to put it together. So everything we do, whether it's a course or a social media post, it's a billboard for your brand. So everything that we put out there is either going to build up or erode trust in our brand. Now, let me ask you this question. Have you ever taken a course that left you frustrated or disappointed? And I'd be curious to know what made it that way. Let me give you a moment with that. Oh gosh, some good answers here. And they're going a little bit fast, so pardon me if I don't read everyone's, but I am going to download this chat. Tech issues, streams of information with no opportunity to apply, um, content that just wasn't the right fit, 200 lessons that could have been 20. Reminds me of some of the books I've been reading, right? Some books you're like, fabulous, chapter 1, 2, and 3, and then the rest of it is like, why is that even there? This could have been a pamphlet. Okay. There are so many ways that things can go wrong in courses, and sadly, let's just put it out there, a crappy course can really damage your reputation and result in lost revenue in the way that one bad review can hurt a small business. So we don't want to erode our credibility and trust. But the good news is this: creating a high quality course, while it takes work and planning and intention, it doesn't require a Hollywood movie budget. It doesn't require a PhD in education or instructional design. It just requires getting to know how people learn and a willingness to take the time and make the effort to put that into practice. Now, I'll say my favorite word again. It's about creating a transformative learning journey for your course participants. So how can you do that? The learning process ultimately belongs to the learner. So that's where our focus needs to be all the time, 100%. Our job is facilitators of information. We're like a GPS. We know the destinations because we want to take our course participants from point A to point B. We know how to get there. We know where the roadblocks and difficult passages are, and we can get them over and through those places. But as a GPS, we can also recalculate when the learner maybe goes off the path. We can help. But remember, we also have the power to lead them into the lake. So we do have to be careful. So it's not just delivering content. The content is there. We're experts. We know the content. It's about designing an experience for learners. So let's talk a little bit about what creating a learning journey might look like. So here are some really practical, actionable things that you can do when you're designing workshops and courses. You want to draw on participants' prior knowledge. This is one of the most effective learning strategies, helping learners connect to what they already know about the material you're teaching. If you're teaching program evaluation, find out what they know. That could be part of the opening of your course. Even the direct question, what do you know so far about what evaluation is. What do you believe about evaluation? What do you think is important about evaluation, right? There are so many great questions you could ask to surface that prior knowledge. And then you can help them know, what are you going to change? What thoughts or beliefs or assumptions are you going to change about evaluation or whatever your topic is? You're going to help them make critical connections, provide opportunities for people to see the relationships among the concepts you're teaching, rather than just isolated facts. We're going to do one, then two, then three. Are one, two, and three nested in a certain way? Are they more like concentric circles? Are they more like a spider web with something in the middle and offshoots, right? So helping them build these connections and seeing relationships among the subtopics and various pieces of content you're teaching is important. You want to build in opportunities for process and reflection. So if this were a course versus just a short talk, there would be all kinds of activities where I would teach you something and then you would process and reflect on it. And I have a zillion activity protocols for how to do that. You also want to create meaningful opportunities for practice. So if I'm teaching evaluation and I'm teaching it, often I've done it in a 1 or 2 day course. I've also taught it in graduate school. Um, my students create evaluation plans or something like that. If I'm teaching survey design, they're going to be creating a survey in my course. If I'm teaching data viz, they're going to be creating charts and graphs, right? They're going to practice the skills right then and there. So important. And of course, we want to make the learning memorable. And that's where we can infuse stories and we can use metaphors and we can get playful and inject humor, because often humor is something that people remember about courses. In fact, next question coming up, the opposite of what I asked before. What made a workshop or course really great? Think about one that was really a powerful, transformative learning opportunity for you. A whole new way of thinking. I always tell people my favorite compliment after a workshop is when people say, "Wow, you really made me think." Oh, that's the best. Concrete examples, tactile, real world, tangible. Oh, wow, so much here. I can't wait to review the chat. Thank you for all of these great contributions. Deliver content and then have an opportunity to practice. So important. So thanks. Continue to share, because I know lots of people are reading and getting a lot out of the chat. So I want to share with you my own framework. This was the result of many, many years of thinking about this. I started doing professional development very early in my own teaching career. When I was teaching kids, I started creating courses for adults. And so over decades, this morphed into, I have a way of doing things, right? Just like whatever you are expert at, you have a way of doing things, right? So sometimes it's fun to sort of codify that. This was developed first in steps, phases, modules. I applied different language to it. And it just happened to fall into this nice word, create. And I just, that resonated with me. So what I did is package what were a whole lot of steps of course creation into 6 main categories. And I'm just going to share with them very quickly. The first thing I do is create the vision, because I have lots of ideas for a new course. I know my topic. I have to remember that this is where I want to identify the audience. I just worked with a client and one of my signature high tier services, the one-on-one. And one of the things they had a lot of trouble with is identifying the audience. Do we want to teach this topic to novices, or do we want experts and taking them further in their journey? Which audience? Because we really couldn't see a way to design what we were doing for both. And then I think about the format, even though the format might change. I might go from an online or an in-person, or I may design it to serve both. Then I would ready the content. Learning objectives. Yes, this comes from the world of education. Learning objectives are incredibly important to establish, and there are ways that we can communicate them without necessarily using the jargon. But having the learning objectives and knowing how to develop good ones helps you align all of the rest of your content and activities and organizing everything. What do you teach first, second, third, and how are you going to share what kind of relationships all of your subtopics and pieces have with each other? Engaging participants, we know this is huge. We have all kinds of instructional strategies that support and cement learning. We have learner engagement that keeps people energized or does team building or helps them feel connected, all kinds of engagement. Plus presentation skills, right? We have to work on our own public speaking and how we are appearing either on site or on camera, and so on. We have course materials that we want to look professional. Some people outsource this to graphic designers. Some people take care of it themselves. There's so many tools available to us. And of course, we have technology. Today, I'm very simple tech stack, PowerPoint and Zoom. I do have a professional microphone and camera that are a little bit better than the built-in. But other than that, I'm not using a lot of technology today. Tying it up in a package, the way that we title our courses and workshops is important. I'm about to release an article about that, so you can look for that on LinkedIn. Course description and logistics. How are people going to know about it, find it, register, get their money back if need be? How are you going to follow up with people? Lots of logistics. And finally, I hope you'll appreciate this step. This is what tends to surprise people who are not us, who are not evaluators. That, oh, yeah, I really should think about how do I capture lessons learned? What data should I be collecting around my course, right? So that's really something that I love teaching when people are not evaluators. All right, we're going to do a quick poll, only it's not going to be a Zoom poll. It's just going to be a put an A, B, C, D, E, F in the chat right now. Oops, let me give you the A, B, C, D, E, F slide. What do you think would be most challenging out of these 6 areas or 6 steps? Oh, very interesting. I mean, I'm not doing the math here, but it looks like a lot of ease, like that marketing and delivering the finished course. So yes, I agree. I know a few things about marketing because I've had to learn them along the way, but I'll be honest, it is not my primary area. It's not my area of expertise. Um, and interesting. And Matt says, not a lot of Fs. Yeah, I think this crowd pretty much has F down pat. Or it's actually the last E in the framework. Cool. All right. So as we wrap it up, just a note about technology. I know some of you here are AI enthusiasts. Some of you may be AI no thank yous. Either way, you can create a wonderful course and workshop. If you are someone who wants to use AI tools, absolutely, there's a lot of ways that you can use them for these different areas. And even more than this, I will not go into this deeply today. Um, I am a sort of trying to take a balanced approach. Yes, I use AI tools. I've found them extremely helpful for some tasks. And I try to remember where the human touch is most important. So even though I've asked an AI tool to give me some examples of good metaphors I can use, I'm the one that I identifies the right one for my audience. I'm the one that chooses which of these activities that my AI chatbot suggested would be the best, and I choose how to facilitate them with my people. I'm the one creating the emotional and personal connection with my audiences and We are always the ones sharing our unique voice and expertise. So I'm curious if you want to put in the chat for others how you're using AI in course creation or other processes. Share whatever you like. I'm going to start to close us out. And I will also ask you to think about one key insight. So, as you think about the potential and the possibility of creating courses and workshops as part of the services that you offer in your work, what's one key insight from this short talk that might be resonating with you now? So, I'd love to have you put that in the chat and then we'll wrap it up. Love it. So, Rebecca, you're using it right in your demonstrations. Oh, drafting a business plan for making workshops part of your consulting business. Thank you for sharing that. I bet others will try that out too. Oh, thank you, Cindy. Love the Create framework. Thank you. I appreciate that. It was a very long time in the making. Using AI to develop content, research audience, and a business plan. Yep, absolutely. So, can you go to an AI chatbot and say, please create a whole course on program evaluation for me? And that's the whole prompt? Yep, you can do that. Now, whether the output you get is what you want is another question. And it might be that you start with a very broad prompt like that. And then you dig into that output and you edit and you move things around and you put your own signature um, uh, special sauce on it, right? However you work with it. So it's whether it's going to be transformative for your learners. That's it. I love the word. Sorry. Sorry, not sorry. All right. So again, you do have a handout. I'm going to give you another opportunity just to grab that QR code. And I invite you to take two simple actions after our time together. There's a free course vision worksheet that will help you clarify your course concept. That's in the handout. Um, and I would say choose one element from the Create framework that we discussed and spend maybe just 20 to 30 minutes mapping out that one thing. Maybe it's getting crystal clear on your audience. Maybe it's brainstorming what engagement activities might work best inside the topic and subtopics that you're teaching. Just one element, 20 or 30 minutes. All right. If you will indulge me, I would like to share with you the services that I'm offering right now. I'm offering them to you, but also in the hopes that you will share with others what is available for them. So I have two things I want to share with you today, a course and a club. So the course, create your course, turn your work into a workshop. The next cohort is going to be in September. And this is for folks who are pretty new to the course creation landscape. Either you haven't yet developed your course or workshop, or maybe you've developed one, but you felt like I'd like a course that walks me through step by step. I give you a workbook with lots of reflective questions that will help you outline and map it all out. And we have a good time together and we have lots of interactivity and time to work on design during and in between sessions. So that's for those folks. Look for early bird pricing and so forth when registration is open. And on my website, there's a get on the wait list. So you'll be the first to hear kind of thing. No obligation if you're on the wait list. This is my lab. This is a monthly, it's ongoing, and it's a monthly meeting and it's a learning library, right? It's two things in one. And it's sort of part course, part community. It's for people who've created at least one course or workshop and just want to strengthen, enhance, improve. They want to learn more about course creation. They want to learn more about better teaching and engagement and all of that. So you come to the lab and we'll have a mini lesson on something new in course creation or learning science or teaching and facilitation. We'll have a spotlight on one of the tools in the learning library, and we'll have time for Q&A and some experimentation like hot seat coaching. So you can bring an idea for an activity. You can bring an idea for a section of your course, and we will workshop it with you for a period of time, and you'll get friendly and supportive feedback from the group. Now you can get on a chat with me anytime and we can talk about whether these are the right opportunities for you. Contact me and I will have a discount code for you as well. And with that, I'll just say keep in touch. I'd love to have you as a newsletter subscriber. Um, that's how you get in touch with me. And I'm going to leave you with this.
Well, thank you for that, Sheila. I appreciate your time and your wisdom, and really kind of the masterclass on how you not only talk about presenting, but you present. And it's like, this is so meta at this point, right? You're presenting on how to present and use that as an opportunity, how we can use this as an opportunity to create business, but you're doing this for yourself. And so we get to see it in action. It's my mind's blown. So this is really wonderful. Thank you for this time today. I have a lot that I want to ask and I want to open up, but I'm going to go ahead and stop the recording. So everybody who's out in YouTube land, we'll see you guys later. Everybody who's live, stick around.